I bet y'all didn't expect to see me here, did you? Y'all wanted me to be in my house, and I'm going to be in my house the next time. But I think that for this week, I wanted to start off here. I tried to get here last season. It didn't work, but look at me now. And here's the crazy thing. I didn't know how my studio setup was going to be, but you're going to see me at this place again. Definitely. So shout out to the Creators Guild Houston, HTX. And we about to get something going. So it's been a long 3 months. The last episode was December 2022. A lot of stuff that went on. And we're going to get into that because I don't want to ramble too much today. But I'm going to ramble too much today, if that makes sense. It don't. But it don't matter. But this week is going to be a good episode. The theme for season 7 is wanted. Wanted in the double meaning. Wanted from the angle of wanted like everybody wants you. The businesses want you. The brands want you. The sponsorships want you, and wanted because you talking that trash and they trying to cancel me, but you can't cancel me because you didn't put me on. So keep that in mind. But, I don't know. I don't really think nobody can really be canceled. But that's just me. Okay, so for this week, the meme reads, being set apart to make God look good is basically like having the best superpowers ever, but with no chance of getting your own movie franchise. All right, so this week's episode is centered around being set apart. Everybody is so good or love the fact that they say they different or they want to be different or they want to do things differently, but what's really different? I shouldn't have to ask you what's different. If you and all your friends saying y'all different, but y'all doing the same stuff, what's really different? Keep that in mind. Inspiration for this week comes from my girl, Mel Mitch's podcast, Parody. She got a podcast parody, y'all, and she's basically making fun of misogynistic podcasts. And typically misogynistic and misogyny is associated with men. She's a podcaster herself, and she's making fun of male podcasts because let's keep it 100. Y'all don't be talking about nothing. And at that point, we're going to get into that later, but that's part of my inspiration. Also, me in general, how I stand out, with this podcast and with a lot of things that I do, a lot of times people will be like, oh, why you do that? Or that don't make sense. Or you should have did it like this. No, that's lame. That's boring. That's what you do. I don't do that. I try to be different. I dare to be different. I know a lot of people don't know how to do that. They say they do, but they don't. But we're going to get into that in a minute too. I don't want to go too ahead of myself. And also, you'll never influence the world trying to be like it. So keep that in mind too. Okay, so real quick, I have a story time, y'all. This is the first story time of season 7, and I'm by myself. So watch this, okay? This story is called The Influencer. Juan was a popular influencer on social media with thousands of followers who eagerly awaited his every post. He had made a name for himself by promoting the latest fashion trends and endorsing the coolest products. One day, a group of Juan's followers urged him to promote a particular brand of clothing that was all the rage among the trendy crowd. Although Juan had never worn the clothes before, he was eager to please his followers, and he agreed to promote it. As soon as he began to promote the brand, he noticed his engagement and following began to drop. People started to leave negative comments on his posts, calling him a sellout and questioning his authenticity. Juan realized that he made a mistake by blindly following the crowd and promoting something he didn't believe in. From that day on, he decided to be true to himself and only promote products and ideas that align with his own beliefs and values. He learned to be set apart from the crowd and it was okay with being different. In the end, Juan's authenticity and willingness to be different paid off, and his following engagement grew stronger than ever before. He learned many lessons from this, and his beliefs grew. But one thing he learned was being true to yourself will lead to true success and value. All right. Okay, so lessons from the story real quick. You don't have to follow the crowd, okay? I know that's what a lot of people's parents tell you that. People say stuff like, well, let me say this. If I do something, the crowd is doing this because I wanted to do it. I remember they said something, I think it was on, I think it was a Proud Family, one of them old episodes. And then the Oscar was like, he told Penny, he said, if they all jumped off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff? And she said, if it was fun. I'm the same way. That's how I feel. If it was fun, I would do it. So if my parents, if you hear about some stuff that I may have did or said, no, I wanted to do it. Nobody made me do it. Also, all advice ain't good advice. I'm going to get into that today too, because a lot of times people be thinking they're giving their advice and they thinking it works. They think it works and a lot of times it may have worked for them. In some cases, it's just on some like, well, I think you should do this, but that's not always the case. So keep that in mind too. All right, y'all. So let's move into my newest segment. This segment is called Happy Hour. So last season, if you paid attention for 6B, the second half of season 6, I did a segment where I kind of introduced y'all to it, where I kind of had a time before I introduced my guest and kind of a time just for me to just talk. And it kind of went off of what was going on at the time or something I really want to talk about that kind of, aligned with my topic for the week. So why the name Happy Hour? So Happy Hour is a popular way for people to socialize. Did the definition. And, you typically, socialize with colleagues, friends after work, just link up with somebody else, go to happy hour. You don't always have to drink. But a lot of times people do. It's just a time to socialize, just unwind and just talk. So this is the segment for that. And y'all gave me good reception to it. And I liked how a lot of my guests was into it last season when they was backstage. So we definitely going to be keeping that going. So let's start with me first. I'm doing a life update. So it's been 3 months since the last time you've seen and heard from me. I have a writing service now, P.S.A, the Ghostwriting Solution. And I do writing enhancements, grant writing. I do, what else I do? I do a little bit of everything. I do cover letters, resumes, proofreading, homework assistance, product and profile descriptions. I do a little bit of everything. So you let me know anything your writing needs, I can do it. Also ask about the secret menu. It won't be here for long, but ask about that because that might help you out. Obviously, another life update. I'm here. I'm at the studio. I work at a school that I like now. The last time you see me, well, no, I was at that school then too. But the time before that, I was at a school I hated. They ain't like me. I ain't like them. But it was what it was. But it don't matter. It is what it is. I'm here now. What else is going on in life? Summer's 10 weeks away, 9 weeks away, something like that. Pretty excited for that. It's time for something new, and I'm excited to see where this next shift in life is about to go because I definitely feel it. I know something crazy is about to happen, but in a good way, not a bad way. And I got a quick story. So a quick story about how your friends ain't your friends, all right? So I do stupid stuff. Y'all know that. Y'all done been following me for 7 seasons now, 82 episodes. And so I sent a text out to my friends randomly. I know this is probably terrible, but I did it. I said, hey, send me $700 right now. I said, my life is on the line. So I sent it to some people. Some people didn't say they was going to send it. They was just asking like, dang, what you do? $700. I sent it to one of my close friends. She texted back and she said, see you in the afterlife, Pooh. And I said, your friends ain't your friends. These people, these ain't your friends. I felt like if somebody would text me they need $700, I wouldn't have gave it to them, but I at least would have been sympathetic. I wouldn't have said see you in the afterlife. Like, first of all, how even know we're going to be on the same side? I'm not going to hell contrary to popular belief. So let's keep that in mind too. Either way, this week's episode is about not conforming and being set apart and being different. And in that case, I think a lot of times people, they want to, I'm going to get to that. Let's get into some definitions. So the first definition, I went ahead and defined set apart. It says refers to being distinguished or separated from others in some way. It can refer to being different in terms of behavior, beliefs, values, or even physical appearance. We got judgment. It says the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. I have the definition force multiplier. Now, that's a good one, and that's one you got to keep in your mind because I'm going to really use it later. Refers to a factor that amplifies the effectiveness or impact of something, often by making it more efficient or powerful. Force multipliers can be found in various contexts. This includes statistics and even television. Then I went ahead and defined substance, all right? The quality of being important, valid, or significant. As always, if the topic is about being different, set apart, and, being called to what you do, right? We have to go into my other segment. What does this have to do with mental health? Starting off with a statistic from Statista, it says there were over 850,000 active podcasts worldwide as of April 2021, up from around 555,000 in 2018. It is likely this number has continued to increase then since podcasting has grown in popularity. So that's 300,000 podcasts that have come about. We're being different and being set apart. We definitely going to highlight podcasting. And like I kind of, peeked at or, gave you a sneak peek of earlier, man, we losing this fight with the podcast. I seen that post. You seen that post where it was like, stop making podcasts. We need more farmers. And the other one that was like, podcasting is the new rap game because, it's like at first when your homeboy say he could rap, it's like, oh, here this nigga go. Now it's like with podcasts like this, really, here this nigga go. And I hate to be a part of that. I never thought I'd be in the person that was in the category that was considered here we go. Because I don't rap and I actually hate, I don't like to use the word hate. I have a strong disdain for, I call them homemade rappers. Now don't get it twisted. Some of them be good. But when I hear somebody say they go out to start rapping or they can rap, I'll be like, here we go. The thing with podcasting and mental health, because obviously we have mental health podcasts. This is one of them. And we have, ones with licensed professionals and ones that, truly, push you in other ways, right? Help you to think critically, which there's a bunch of those. But podcasts also can offer like a sense of community, right? And it's for individuals they can connect. It's for people who feel isolated or alone. And many mental health podcasts actually feature interviews like this one with experts in their field, personal stories from people who have been experienced in mental health challenges and, advice on coping and self-care things and techniques. So we live in a world, though, where it seems like, think about it, the same type of podcast clips go viral. Who's splitting the bills? What's everybody's favorite one? It's who's splitting the bills? What's your favorite position? I'm not built for monogamy. What's the other one? If he ain't who I'm having sex on the first date. He need to pay all my bills the first night. He need to put gas in my car, rub my feet, tell me I'm pretty while I then do nothing. Making sandwiches at 3 a.m. What's the other one they do? And she said, what the girl said, if I cook the dishes, I'm drunk. If I cook the food, he washes the dishes. If I do that, like, okay. It's literally the same stuff. It's to the point where I think people study this and then they wait some months and then they say, let me recreate this in a different way. Is it me? I don't think I'm the only one to think like that. But, here's the thing. What's the other one? It's another one. Oh, blocking. They talk about blocking people and how I'm going to block this person and, talk about haters and all that. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I do block people, but I only block people because they harass me. I don't block people because I'm like people think like I block people because I'm mad at them. No, I block you because you were harassing me. So somebody say, Izzy, what is harassment? If you trying to be a good person and somebody texting you, talking crazy, calling you out your name, to me, that's abuse if I sit here and let you do it. What kind of fool would I be to let somebody text my phone, call my phone, talking to me crazy, and I just sit there and let them? Now, if you do that, raise your hand. I'm not going to do that. To me, that's absurd. But I want to ask this question. How does being set apart correlate with podcasting? As PSA has always done, thought outside the box. You do things that you never really seen done before, or you take something that's been done and you do it in a different way. You got to hype yourself up, all right? You got to hype yourself up. Like even with me, I hype myself up all the time because I feel like if you don't hype yourself up, now there's a difference, and we'll get into that another day, when people hype themselves up and people are just cocky. Because those are two different things. I'll hype myself up, bring myself out. I got my writing service under the same PSA name. I'm still doing the podcast thing. I'm featured in a lot of different things. People reaching out, want to get on. And That's the goal. I just want to continue to expand in every way possible. I have a unique perspective. You know, a lot of times people have listened to my podcast, or they first hear about it, they'll try to throw a slug at it. They'll say, well, how are you doing a mental health podcast? You're not a mental health professional. Well, as I've stated many times, and I'm going to say again, since it's the first episode of a new season, I'm just like you. I go out and get the first episode. Obviously, ain't no guest here. I'm talking to myself, essentially. But I go out and I get people, I put them on here, and everybody has a story to tell. So it's about, thinking outside the box, challenge the way we act, think, or feel, because what most people fail to realize is mental health is the definition is how we act, think, and feel. So if I'm challenging that, why we do the things the way we do, the topics are endless, especially for my target audience, us young millennials who feel lost in life. We may feel like we're missing something, may feel like, we don't know exactly where to go, how to go about it. But, it is what it is. Another way that sets podcasters apart, and as well as with people in general who want to be set apart, is their branding. So being set apart can also help podcasters develop a sense of their unique brand and their brand identity. A lot of people don't know their identity. And they brand identity, that's a real thing. So, for example, for podcasters who uses humor or storytelling to approach serious topics, they may be able to create a brand identity that is both entertaining and thought-provoking. Now, when I think of that, I instantly think of one person, myself. And then I think of Dave Chappelle. Remember when Dave Chappelle was like, die line, I spit hot fire? That's me. For sure, that's me. Because as I said in my trailer for season 5, nobody's seeing me when it comes to that area. Like I said, I'm not going to sit and say no podcast is better than me. I'm not going to say no podcast is more thought-provoking than me. I ain't going to say nobody is funny to me. I ain't going to say nobody's more entertaining than me, but name somebody who can do all these things at once. You're going to comment and say something petty, but you're not going to answer the question. So let's move on. I can honestly say my stuff is different. Now, again, as I brought up earlier, not like dudes who be saying that they different, I feel like dudes went from saying that they different to I'm him. And one of my friends gonna comment under my picture one day talking about some him. I deleted, don't put that under my picture. I am not him, because when I hear him, I think of the thing off the Powerpuff Girls. The red thing, the Powerpuff Girl, that's him. So when you saying that, essentially that's what I think about. And then don't put no black heart, no gorilla under my picture either. I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see none of that. For real, like I get that you showing love. Just put a fist, just put a fire emoji, but don't. This the easiest way to get ignored. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna block you, but you'll get ignored. The podcast thing at this point in time, honestly, is a substance issue. It's much deeper than just men and women. And that's what I want y'all to understand today. So I got another study real quick. A study published in the Journal of Social Psychology found that individuals who felt different from others in terms of political beliefs reported higher levels of self-esteem and well-being compared to those who felt similar to others. All right. Now, again, the issue that we having today is substance versus no substance. Now, although I'm talking about podcasts, you might say, well, Izzy, I'm not a podcast. I'm not even a content creator. That's perfectly all right. But what I want you to understand is substance and no substance. I sit here and listen to people's conversations. I just thought about another one. I heard some people having conversations and they was really arguing, dudes again. Like they said, so if you go out the country, you're not going to go get no prostitute? And they was dead serious. And they was saying because they bad over there and because it's cheaper. I'm like, okay. So if they badder over there and they're cheaper, you don't think people thinking like you? You're going to go pay for sex. Not saying people don't pay for sex because they was doing it on P.S.A. They do that every day. Actually, Tubi has a movie now called P.S.A. and I want to watch it because I'm interested to see what's that going to be like. Why? Because first of all, if they put me on Tubi, I should be on Tubi because if that's a source that don't have no substance. So if we're doing substance versus no substance, real quick, that's Hulu, Netflix, Tubi. Okay. Now, with that being said, I wouldn't mind doing a Tubi movie. And I would do a Tubi movie, and here's why I would do a Tubi movie. I would do a Tubi movie because if I go on Tubi, I'm finna get a Grammy, an Oscar, an Emmy. I'ma sing my own theme song, and then that theme song is gonna be nominated for a Grammy. And then I'm gonna be EGOT from being on Tubi because nobody else was doing that. Name a good actor on what? They got a few reality actors that's on it that's okay, because it's like terrible and then it's like cool. But then terrible to cool to amazing, which is me, it just knocks it out the water. It's like gorgeous and cute. Gorgeous devours cute. Now, let's go into the term, which now that led into another topic, the force multiplier. So now, the force multiplier is a little tricky because this term, I actually learned this term recently from Carlos King. And he's a reality TV guy. He always talks about how people on these shows are force multipliers. And we gave the actual definition earlier, but the technical definition, well, I gave the technical definition earlier. But the Urban Dictionary definition would be the person that gets it popping. Just the person that come around and they getting it going. They pushing the story forward. They pushing, they making everything going. It's actually a scientific term. So just in that stance, if I went to Tubi, I would be the force multiplier because then they're going to say, y'all, Izzy's on Tubi. Tubi already get the ratings, but then they're like, y'all, it's a good movie, but we have at least one good actor. Think about that. Now, how does this correlate with mental health? Watch this. So being a force multiplier, mental health can involve leveraging resources and strategies that amplify the effectiveness of mental health treatment and support. So in TV and drama, this is the person that brings about the conflict or the person who, in some cases, bring about the resolution. This is in both scripted and unscripted. I think about, I don't know, randomly, P.S.A. I thought about when towards the end of the show, when Lawrence, I almost said Lawrence got her pregnant. She ain't had no kids. When she got the lady Consuela, ain't that her name? Got pregnant. And then that was kind of like pushing the storyline forward because they had just got back together. And then boom, it kind of split them apart because now she debating on do she want to go back with him. She don't know if she can handle him. Technology, that's a force multiplier. Chat GPT. That's going to help a lot of y'all out. Now, I'm going to tell you now, enjoy it now because soon they're going to catch y'all. But, so let it go because then it's going to be something that catch AI stuff. They ain't caught it yet, but they're going to get y'all. Now, social media is also a force multiplier because for television shows, as if it helps fans connect with the show, share their enthusiasm with others. And for example, fans of an unscripted show may use social media to campaign for their favorite contestants, while fans of a scripted show may use social media to discuss plot twists and theories. Back to P.S.A. People was threatening her life because what's her name got pregnant. And they was like, you better pick Lawrence, I'm going to kill you. They said that, and like that's how invested they was. They want to kill her in real life because she didn't pick somebody in the show. I mean, she did, but you know what I mean. All right, now let's move into my other newest segment. I challenge that. Now, with this one, I want to always make sure that the debate is going, whether it's me by myself or, I got my guest, although it's like 10 people in my head, but you know how that go. Now, feeling different or set apart from others can have both positive and negative effects on mental health. On one hand, it can lead to increased self-awareness, creativity, and individuality, which can be beneficial for mental health. On the other hand, it could also lead to feelings of isolation, depression, which can have negative effects on mental health. So positively, in a study published by the Journal of Creative Behavior, it said researchers found that individuals who perceived themselves different from their peers scored higher on measures of creativity, divergent thinking, and self-expression. Whoa, did T.I. write this? And then negative effects. In a survey conducted by the mental health charity Mind, 80% of respondents with mental health problems reported feeling isolated and disconnected from others, which can exacerbate symptoms and make recovery more difficult. Now, watch this. There will be a season of isolation, especially because I feel like before you can actually get put into the industry you're supposed to be in, whatever mountain of influence you're supposed to be in, whether that's entertainment, whether that's, what's the other ones? Family, whether it's politics, whether it's just your church, whatever. Before you get there, you have to be consecrated. You have to get put together. You have to get yourself together, of course, with God. But you have to really kind of have a season of isolation. I think our generation as I said this many times before, our generation, idolizes and fantasizes about being by themselves and, I can do everything by myself. I can do bad all by myself. I don't need help. And I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to move on to my next statistic. How far is that getting you? A study published in the Journal of Abnormal Psychology found that feeling different from others can be a risk factor for depression, particularly in individuals who also experience social rejection or exclusion. So, like I said, do you think podcasts cater to a target audience? And should they? I think they should. I mean, that's also the way to capitalize and monetize, really, too, if you're going for that person that's just like you. So with me, my target audience, my young mental health conscious millennials, my young people, young millennials, older Gen Z are unofficial, but they there too. Because I have some friends that's like 97, 98. We talk about the same stuff. But, we may feel lost in life. We struggle with making healthy decisions. And this is one of them. So I definitely think that, this is how it should be. Now, here's the thing, though. You can't take everything personal, especially when people are trying to get help. OK, I think that it's a lot of times when people talk about paying bills. Right. And I think with that, you have to manipulate the situation. When I say manipulate, I don't mean it from a negative perspective. I mean manipulate from the angle of when it comes to bills. Can this help me make money? What can I do to help make myself make money? We live in a world where everything, you can get paid for everything. Feet finder is a thing. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying it's a thing. And people make thousands of dollars from it. But I'm not telling you to do that because, I'm just not. But you get what I mean. Another question when it comes to these podcasts, can people do podcasts by themselves? Not everybody. What I appreciate about some of these people is they know they can't. And that's okay. Everybody can't hold a conversation by themselves. Everybody's not meant to. And another question I got to ask. When I get critiques from people, I have to ask myself, I have to think outside of the box, right? Are people challenging me because they really want to help me, or do they really see me as competition? Are you scared I'm going to end your career? Is that what it is? Do you see the greatness? Because sometimes I learn people see greatness in you even if they don't tell you. And they try to maybe derail you like the train, take you off the tracks because they see it in you. But, I want to say with that, you, again, have to be confident in yourself. And you have to know what you can and can't do. Sometimes people trying to help you out by saying, you maybe shouldn't wear that today. Not because they think you're going to upstage them, because it might be too little. You might have gained a little weight, but that's okay because you can lose weight. So that ain't no big deal. Or maybe it just don't look right on you. Everything don't look right on everybody. Me personally, the boxy look that's in, I don't think that looks right on me. But I got some friends that looks great on. It don't look right on me. If one of certain angles, it might look like a crop top. I got too much belly for that. I ain't trying to show that. Here's the thing with podcasts, and it don't just stop right there, okay? This goes in so many different angles. I know we highlighting podcasting, but YouTube channels, makeup artists, barbers, school teachers, fitness people, dietarians, whatever. Trust me. I tell you, it's enough room for everybody to do what they want to do and do something different and truly revel in being different and being set apart. Remember, you're in the world, you're not of it. Also, remember, people who aren't as creative, as I said earlier, and I'm going to reiterate, ChatGPT is only going to get you so far. It's going to come eventually. Somebody going to catch on. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's move into the weekly sabbatical. As we know, this is the time where I reflect and kind of get into the meat of what really made me start this episode. Want to do this episode? What inspired it? So Mel Mitch got a podcast parody. All right. She's an influencer and comedian on Instagram. HBC graduate. Shout out to her for that. And basically, she has this podcast series, and she in the lead podcast is named Quan Diedrich, and she got another parody of this guy that's like his homeboy, and then she got a girl, she played a girl on there, and just kind of imitating how male podcasts be, and like she'll say stupid stuff like, oh yeah, if my daughter ain't no hoe, then she ain't no real woman. Like she's obviously satire making fun of like how a lot of y'all be sounding. And it's kind of like, this is how I look at it. We talk about men podcasts not talking about nothing, but let's keep it 100. A lot of you women podcasts don't talk about nothing either. Y'all talk about how men talk about, hoes and cars and, sections, whatever. Y'all talk about y'all lashes, y'all wigs, y'all brunches. And again, as I said earlier, y'all always got to throw in who gonna pay all the bills. I seen a tweet and it said, y'all praising SZA, but SZA is just Future for girls. My mind was blown. She is a singing Future. She is legit the female version of Future with a BBL. So that's really the female version of Future, because if Future was a girl, he'd have a BBL. And also how I feel as a male podcaster. Now this funny, but it's the truth. You know how you at your job and say you a supervisor over something, you got a team and your team ain't do what they were supposed to do. So now your supervisor come to you like, what's going on? And you like, I can't explain this because that's how I feel with y'all. That's how I feel about my fellow podcast brothers who don't talk about nothing. That's how when they be going in on y'all, I just have to sit there. I'm like, I can't say nothing. But what can I say to that? It's nothing I can say. I'm gonna say, bless their heart. They trying. I mean, I don't know what else I could really say. That's just me. I can't defend it. I don't know what to do. Women are proving, y'all proving these women right. And then when y'all get mad, and then go comment on her podcast, you go comment on Instagram under the parody. I've seen it. And y'all going in on her talking about you a bird, you stupid. Now she finna call you sassy. So now y'all lost again. Sometimes it's okay to take your L in silence and just not say nothing. Because that's really that's an example, for a real life example of niggas nigging. Now, I don't like using the N word on this podcast, even though I use it in real life on a regular basis. But let me go back up and say this. There's a difference between black folks and niggas. So that's why I really can't stop saying niggas. And I got to give a disclaimer. So Dealer, we got to give a disclaimer with this part with the niggas, and maybe we're going to block it out when we do the video clip. But here's the thing. I'm going to get all these, not black folks, niggas together. And I'm going to start my own school. Because, see, a lot of y'all need some training. And I can't keep texting y'all, hey, king, and you're not acting like king. That's peasantry. That's niggatry when you go do stuff like that. So I'm going to start my own school, and I'm going to call it King University. Because, see, me, I'm a king. So I'm going to start in the King University, and I'm going to bring the king out of you niggas. So it's turning niggas into kings. And this is going to be, and this is going to be, and what's going to happen is y'all going to stop clapbacking at women in the comments, and other men too. Let them have it. I know it's hard. Trust me, it's hard to let people have it, but let them have it. But here's what we're going to do. I'm the overseer. I graduated from King University. But here's how I'm going to get y'all. When you come to King University, you going to have 7 classes. And I don't care if you make it to the 6th class and you fail, you start over from the beginning. Because if you waste my time, I'm going to waste yours. So keep that in mind. Now, let's go back to being set apart. Kings are set apart. Let me throw that in there too. But some people are scared to be different or set apart because of judgment. And we defined judgment earlier. So how do you go about standing apart, being different? And this is coming from several sources, all right? So you may say, and one of them includes myoncomfort.com. So you might be thinking, well, Izzy, how do I be stand out? How do I be set apart? I don't really know how to go about it. I got some tips, and I think they're effective. All right. So as I said earlier, we are called to live in the world, but we are called to live different. We are not called to blend in among the thorns. We are supposed to stand out and live differently from the rest of the crowd. You won't gain approval from the world, but there is far greater award that waits on you. Be innovative. Innovators are able to stand out. They develop new ideas, products, or services that disrupt the status quo. According to a survey by Deloitte, that's a name, companies that prioritize innovation are more likely to achieve financial success and market leadership compared to those that don't. Volunteer work is also another way in which you could stand out. You can help individuals by demonstrating your commitment to social responsibility and community involvement. According to a survey done by the Corporation for National Community Service, volunteers are more likely to be employed and have higher earnings compared to non-volunteers. Now, I know you're probably thinking, how does this work? But soft skills, this is something else too. Soft skills such as communication, problem solving, and teamwork are highly valued by employers and can help individuals stand out in their careers. According to a survey on LinkedIn, 92% of hiring managers said that soft skills are just as important, if not more important than technical skills. Let me get into LinkedIn. So real quick, I just found out that LinkedIn has like a podcast space. And I'm torn in between the two like LaToya Luckett because I'm trying to figure out, do I want to do my government name on LinkedIn or do I want to do the podcast name? And it's like, I mean, I could have two LinkedIns. I could have one where I'm doing like this with my real name and then the other one like with a podcast outfit on. For example, this is a podcast outfit. I ain't got no cut, y'all. I keep it tell like it is. But when I get one, I'm gonna pop out. But I don't know if I'm gonna be at the studio. But the next time I come to the studio, I'm gonna have a cut, and you having me saying this on record. Let me say this, and I said it earlier, but I'm gonna say it again. God set you apart for a special purpose. He chose you to do His work on earth, and you need to figure out why He did that and build off of it, because there's a reason for it. So with my ending remarks for the day, I really, really, really want you podcasters and men and women alike. I really want y'all to, now I'm not dissing, pop culture podcasts. I'm not dissing really anybody's podcast. I'm just dissing people with lack of substance and lack of structure. In that regard, even if you take it as a diss, I think it as a strong critique. Because I can take critiques. Like I said, somebody asked me before. They had just questioned. They said, do you think that your podcast is for your target audience? But it was because, and this is not shady. Please listen, it's not shady. I said, in all due respect, I think what I'm doing goes over your head. Because if you really listen, I talk about not the same stuff, but it's talk about kind of the same stuff we all talk about. It's just not as, black and white. Like I said, you're not going to hear me on here saying, hey, guess one now. Are you paying the bills or are you making her split the rent? Or who should pay on the first day? If it comes up, it's going to be a joke. I don't think I could really sit here and just talk about that all day long. And everybody's doing it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, y'all done said every answer. So I don't know what else I'm going to say. What I'm going to say, because I've known women that have paid on the first date. For both the man and the woman. They exist. I know people who, we talk about people who wait 90 days for sex, and a lot of y'all saying, yeah, I'm doing it the first night. I catch a vibe. Are y'all still together? Some of y'all are. I will say that. But a lot of y'all might not be. But that's just something to think about. Now, if you're just catching vibes, then catch all the vibes. Shout out to All the Vibes podcast and my people. Keep doing what you're doing. I ain't even playing that. That just popped up. That really did. I ain't even going to hold you. But yeah, I think this was a good first episode. I got to do my question and challenge for the people. Now this week, this is my question and challenge for y'all. So I want y'all to be set apart. I want y'all to be different, right? I want you to answer this question. Riddle me this. This week, how do you plan to stand out or be different? What do you plan to do? It's real simple. If it's something like, now I'm not telling you to intentionally be a rebel. You can be a rebel to an extent, like not conform to society's norms. But I'm saying more so from like, because some people, and that's another quick conversation. Some people try to do stuff on purpose. Like, some people, they intentionally just try to go against the grain. They could agree with what everybody is saying, but they're going to go against it just because. I don't like them people. Because at this point, you just bringing about, you just trying to bring division for reasons don't nobody even know. Maybe that's your way of being different, I guess. But let's well, I want to say this. Let's do things with good intentions and not once to just stir up mess. We got enough mess going on. Every time I get on Instagram, I just throw the phone across the room. But I'm glued to the mess, and I hate that for me. So keep me in y'all prayers. All right, that's it. I don't have nothing else to say. So next week I got a guest, and I'm be at home. I ain't got no haircut next week either. So PSA sign out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are and make your mind up. Don't let it make you.